Alright, I'm going to do my best here to give you a run through of how the posts work, how the categories work of the posts, and how to use the short codes. So first thing I'll start with is we've got columns here. Let's just start with this breastfeeding support. So the first thing you're going to need to do is go into categories and make sure you have a category for what you're looking for here. Right now these are under columns, which is what we want it to be under. We don't have a breastfeeding support, so we will need to create one called breastfeeding support. The parent will need to be columns and add a new category. Next you will need to go to add new. We'll call this 2014 test breastfeeding support post. This is just a test and can be deleted. We're going to publish that. So now we have a category called breastfeeding support, and we have a new post that is associated with breastfeeding as soon as we actually uncheck it from uncategorized and put it under breastfeeding support. Can't forget that step, which I did the first time. Let's go ahead and update that. Once that's done, we'll jump over to pages, which has our columns. We'll look up our columns page, and then we will edit the shortcode that goes into that page. So let's see here, we're looking for so we'll go to columns. And you put all of these different categories in here, just like you needed to. And then this right here defines what list of items are going to go into the actual, from this category. So breastfeeding support, we want it to be breastfeeding, and you can see here it says we've got max per page is 4, which is just how many are going to be shown here. And then it doesn't really say, I think the tax term is what actually defines which category it is, but since we don't know which category it is, we've got this nice little built-in feature. We're going to delete this. We're going to do insert shortcode. Then from here we're going to select posts. And we're going to select list loop, which is just a list of the post titles, which is what we want. It's the most recent ones. I'm going to scroll down through here. How many pages of post do we want? We decided 4. Types, it's a post, category, and then here's where we need to select breastfeeding support. We've got a whole list of things here that you can select. So any category that you create under posts will show up here. Then we can select which author. We'll select Candace because we don't want it to show up under Nest Admin. I'm going to be changing those this evening, all the ones under Nest Admin. That way I don't show up as an author on the blog page. So descending, which is what we want, we're going to order by date. And we're going to insert shortcode. All it's going to do is dump out this big chunk of code here that you really don't care about. Now when we update, we should be able to go back to the columns page and see what we need to see, which is, instead of these things here, will be hopefully the 2013 or 14, I guess, breastfeeding support And no, it didn't work. So that's unfortunate. I'm pretty sure I know why. Let's go back to pages. Let's go back into editing that page. Let's delete that shortcode. Goodbye. Insert it again. Same thing. I think by selecting Candace, it's only going to show posts that were actually by Candace. So we've got 4 posts, categories, breastfeeding support. I held down Command key and clicked on her name to get rid of that, just FYI. Let's insert shortcode and hopefully that will resolve the issue. There we go. All right. Next thing we need to make sure that we do is this is still pointing to Thrifty Tips. This is an easy fix. We just want this guy to point to the correct link, which is going to be, let's link this guy. Right now you can see it's going to this. We want it to go to breastfeeding support, the page. So we'll insert that in there and update it. Update the page. Now hopefully when we refresh this, the view all will be pointing to breastfeeding support. Just hover that link in the bottom left hand corner of the screen. Now you should see the URL, and clicking on that will take you to breastfeeding support. Now I've got to figure out why these are showing up here. Oh, I bet the breastfeeding support had, you copied and pasted some code from that as well. You should be able to edit that the same way as you did the other. Let's go back and look at that. Let's go back to pages. Okay, you've got a breastfeeding support page. And yeah, so this is going to pull in all the posts, but you've got the wrong category. Again, it's the 42 is the version we're looking, or the category we're looking at there. So based off that, we could probably actually go back over and see just what the actual category was instead of reinserting that entire thing. Yeah, it looks like it's 45. So I believe if I change this to 45 and hit update, it will now be feeding in the breastfeeding articles only, the breastfeeding support articles. And there you go. So that is how you use the shortcodes and the categories for the post to determine what shows up on the page. I hope that was helpful.